All right, so are we ready to dive into this whole AI thing? I feel like everywhere you turn these days, it's AI, this AI, that.
Just definitely having a moment.
Right. So today we're going to try to break it all down, especially this idea of AI stealing our jobs. We're diving deep into this Associated Press piece. AI may not steal many jobs after all. And let me tell you, there are some seriously interesting points in here.
Yeah, it's a really timely piece. I mean, you've got all this fear and anxiety about AI taking over,
Yeah.
but then you start looking at what's actually happening, and it's a lot more nuanced than people think.
So no robot uprising just yet. Because let's be real, we've all seen those sci-fi movies.
Huh, not quite. But the article makes a really good point about how we tend to imagine these things. Like, imagine trying to explain today's job market to someone from, say, 1940.
Oh man, they'd be totally lost.
Totally. App developers, social media managers, even what we do, podcasting. They wouldn't even have words for it.
That's so true.
And that's kind of the point. Technology doesn't just eliminate jobs, it completely reshapes the entire landscape of work.
Okay, so maybe less mass unemployment, more like mass career makeover. I can get behind that.
Exactly. And there are some really interesting real-world examples of this happening right now. Like, the article talks about this company, Alorica. They're a huge global customer service company.
Okay, I think I've heard of them.
So they're using AI for real-time translation, get this, across 200 languages and 75 dialects.
Whoa, 200 languages, that's insane.
Right. It's like they've got the United Nations of customer service reps, all powered by algorithms.
Seriously. So with that kind of technology, they must be laying people off like crazy, right?
Well, that's what you'd think, wouldn't you? But here's the thing. They're actually hiring more people.
Wait, seriously, that doesn't make any... How does that even...
I know, it's a total head-scratcher at first.
Huh?
But it all comes down to efficiency. See, they're not using AI to replace their human workforce. They're using it to make them even more efficient.
So instead of needing a representative for every single language, they can have fewer reps who are way more effective because of AI.
You got it. Which means they can handle more customers, expand their reach, and boom, suddenly they need more people, not fewer.
Okay, so it's not about AI versus humans. It's more like humans with AI superpowers.
Now you're getting it.
Hmm.
And it's not just Alorica, IKEA, the furniture giant. They've been using chatbots since 2021.
IKEA, really? I wouldn't have thought.
Yep. And instead of replacing employees, they retrained something like 8,500 of them for higher-level tasks.
Wow.
They realized that AI could handle a lot of the routine stuff, which freed up their human workforce to focus on more complex and engaging work.
Okay, so it's all about working smarter, not harder. I like it.
Right. And the article actually quotes this one entrepreneur who described it as upgrading from a Corolla to a Tesla.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Tasks that used to take hours now take minutes, and the accuracy is through the roof. It's really about using AI to unlock new levels of productivity and possibility.
So more Teslas, fewer Corollas. I'm on board with that. But does this mean like all those super smart chatbots we're always hearing about are gonna like take over the world? Should I start prepping my "please don't replace me" speech for my boss, you think?
You're probably safe for now. I mean, chatbots are getting really good, don't get me wrong, but they haven't quite figured out how to fully replace humans just yet.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet.
Okay, so you're saying no need to panic?
I think it's a little early to be sending out those resumes for like chatbot trainers or something. Even the White House, the article mentions this, the White House Council of Economic Advisors, they haven't seen any like major red flags about AI causing huge job losses.
Okay, well, the White House says we're good. But what about like, I don't know, all those stories about companies replacing whole teams with AI? Like, there's got to be something to that, right?
Oh, for sure. There are definitely companies doing that. The article even talks about this one entrepreneur who actually did replace a big chunk of his customer support team with a chatbot. It was a tough call, he said, but it was what his business needed.
See? I told you the robots were coming.
But hold on. There's more to the story. While some companies might be making those kinds of big, drastic changes, others like Alorica and IKEA are showing that there's another way.
Okay.
They're using AI not to get rid of their people, but to actually make them better at what they do.
So it's not like this one-size-fits-all AI takeover. It really depends on how companies decide to use it.
Exactly. It's about strategy.
Yeah.
Some companies might only see AI as like a cost-cutting tool, right?
Right.
But others see it as a way to empower their workforce and do things they couldn't do before.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's be real, AI can't be good at everything, right? Like, where does it fall short?
Yeah. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
AI is really good at certain things, like crunching huge amounts of data, spotting patterns that we might miss, and doing all those repetitive tasks that nobody really enjoys.
Okay, yeah, those are definitely not my favorite.
But what AI really struggles with are those things that come naturally to us. Things like empathy, creativity, that gut feeling you get when something's just not quite right.
So, no robot therapists anytime soon. Darn, there goes my dream career as a chatbot whisperer.
Haha, maybe not. But for now, those limitations are actually where this whole human plus machine thing gets really interesting. The article talks about this study where they found that call center workers who used AI were something like 14% more productive than those who didn't. And get this, the workers who benefited the most were the least experienced ones. They saw a 34% boost.
Wow. AI as like a productivity coach, that's kind of cool, actually, especially if you're just starting out.
Totally. AI can help fill in those knowledge gaps,
Mm.
provide on-the-job support, and honestly just make work less stressful and more efficient for everyone involved. It's about using technology to enhance our human capabilities, not erase them.
This is making me think about those like transferable skills people are always talking about. Are those even more important now, with AI changing everything?
Absolutely. We're talking about skills like critical thinking, problem solving, being able to communicate effectively, things machines haven't quite figured out yet.
Yeah.
And those skills are going to be like gold in the age of AI because they apply to pretty much every industry and every role.
So it's less about becoming the world's best at, say, using one particular software and more about being adaptable, a quick learner, ready for whatever's next.
You got it. The jobs that are going to be in high demand in like 10 years, we might not even know what they are yet. The best way to be prepared is to have those strong foundational skills and that mindset that's open to change and excited about innovation.
It's exciting and kind of terrifying at the same time, like we're on the verge of something huge.
It definitely keeps things interesting. But remember, this isn't a humans versus machines situation. It's about finding ways to bring the best of both worlds together.
So, like, what does that actually look like for our listeners? How do we take all this and actually use it in our own careers?
Yeah.
It's like we're writing the instruction manual for this whole AI future as we go, But, like, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another to actually, like, feel ready for it?
Oh, absolutely. Just understanding it isn't enough, right? We've got to actually equip ourselves to thrive in this whole new world of work.
So where do we even begin? Like, should we all run out and learn how to code? Become AI whisperers?
Yeah, those are definitely options. But I think if we take a step back, it really starts with this idea of like embracing lifelong learning.
Okay, so no more like zoning out to reality TV after work. Gotta hit the books instead.
Well, maybe not every night.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's about actively making time for learning, whether it's online courses, workshops, or even just like reading industry news, staying curious and informed is huge.
Especially since it seems like those industries are changing like every 5 minutes, right?
Exactly. And that's where those transferable skills come in. We're talking critical thinking, problem solving, communication, being adaptable. These are things that apply no matter what your job title is.
So it's less about being like the master of one specific tool and more about building a foundation that can like roll with the punches, whatever comes next.
Yes. Think about it. The jobs everyone's going to want in 10 years. They might not even exist yet. The best way to prepare is to be that versatile learner, someone who's not afraid of change and is actually excited about what's next.
It's both exciting and kind of scary at the same time, right? Like we're all kind of figuring this out as we go.
That's what makes it an adventure. But remember, this isn't about humans versus machines. It's about figuring out how to use the best of both.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive, what's like the one big takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
Don't be afraid of the robots. Learn to dance with them. The future of work is all about collaboration, and AI might just be our most interesting dance partner yet. Embrace the change, stay curious, and remember those skills that make us human. Those will always be our superpower.
I love that. Learn to dance with the robots. Now that's a future I can get behind. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.